I have a really special guest. Guys, buckle up, sit back, relax. This one's going to be a good one because the man I'm about to present to you, I got to share a stage with just last week in Dallas at Squad Up Summit. So shout out. And this man is doing commercial real estate. It's something we don't always talk about here. I'm actually really enthused to be on this one because I came from a commercial training, but I don't necessarily practice large commercial real estate anymore. So without further ado, Doron Levi, bro, good to have you. Your name is known. So anyone who's sitting here driving, they're at the gym, throwing weights around, going on the way home, they've probably heard your name. But give us for those who haven't, tell them what's up.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, thank you for having me here. I'm grateful for the opportunity to talk to the listeners here, brains and hearts, because at the end of the day, you can understand something, but if your heart's not in it, you ain't going to do it. So I want to talk to people's hearts with the commercial real estate. Like you said, it's just not been spoken enough about, and I feel that I want to be the guy that brings it to the spotlight.
All right. Well, you're in the great Pace. Morby loves you. We love you, and you're in a great community, and I think we're lucky to have you. So yeah, let's talk about commercial real estate. I know we're going to talk about a deal, and guys, don't worry, we will. This deal I think we're going to talk about was in Philly. Doron does a lot of things across the country, so we're not going to pigeonhole him in Philly. But yeah, listen, we need that. And creatively, this isn't just subject to and seller finance, although you're doing those components, you're doing Morby methods, you're doing seller finance. Of course, a lot of those come down to this. But break it down for the listeners on, I guess, the deal in Philly, and then we'll spice it up with little tips and tricks that you've learned along the way, and why someone can also benefit because they go, well, Doron, you're doing commercial real estate. I'm trying to get my first deal, but we can show you how to get your first deal and also get into something really badass.
Yeah, it's thank you for that. The one in Philly was basically me bringing about $700,000 of my own money to the table, buying an old industrial piece of warehouse that I had a vision that I can potentially turn it into a cash cow of a multifamily plex, and that's kind of what I did. I bought it, I knocked it out, and I built a 25 unit commercial multifamily plex, right, where it's now worth about it's a little over. No, so that was the 25 units, actually 7 million, right? That one, I did a couple, so I apologize to your listeners.
It's all good.
It's not like I did one and it's easy for me to, so my apologies. And the nice thing about it is, being that I'm able to build it, I get a lot of, I have really good connections overseas where I import stuff. So where most people build, well, they built then, like the price is a little bit different now, but they build it at $150, $160 a square feet. I was able to build this for about $105 a square foot. Wow. So I took a commercial loan of about 3.4 million, but it actually cost me close to 700, was 670 some thousand less than what I borrowed, which ended up making me keep about $670,000 in my pocket at the end of this project, tax free. That obviously I'm not gonna even have to pay for, because my tenants, right, will do that.
Tenants pay that. So wait, you did a project that was under budget? First of all, that's like the biggest freaking takeaway right there.
Oh my God, I love it. I didn't think about
that most things go over budget. Let's just be real. Someone told me at Squad Up that they were like, oh, did you see the materials that he sourced? And so I think you said you got stone from Turkey. I was like, I'm Turkish. I have some Turkish blood in me.
And amazing. Me too. Okay.
Yeah. So my grandfather is 100% Turkish.
Okay. That's amazing. My grandma also.
So I heard you got materials sourced from Turkey. Is that?
Yeah. So a lot of stone, but also vanities for bathrooms. Like I'm talking about 85-pound sinks, like marble sinks. Like stuff, which I also use for my resort build. And I'm not trying to get off topic. So I have connections with factories in Turkey, Greece. I used to do a lot of China. Like they just fabricate things for me for specs. Like any floor I needed, any cabinet I needed. I mean, you name anything in building material, they build it. Even the the wood looking wall panels, like
Oh,
the
yeah.
covers, like million colors, right? But like with three factories in China. But now I work mainly with Turkey. I work with Greece and a little bit of Italy. These are the top three that I currently outsource. If I need like fallbacks, I'll use my Chinese connections, like
Mhm.
factories that I work with. So yeah, you're right.
So good. Yeah, I had to go off topic there, but listen, that is just powerful. I wrote that down. That's a takeaway for me because I have a 10 unit building that we need to source things from, and I'm struggling in that sector of, sometimes I know I can just get it all specced and shipped in. If I can get a container full of the materials I need, that'd be really nice instead of just going to the local supply houses. And I don't like the materials anyway. They're not as sexy and cool as we can make them. And I know they're
Yes. And you hit the nail on the head. It's such a good point that I want to take 5 more seconds to stop on it. So if you get those materials and you buy them and you put them in whatever you're building or you're renovating, you now have a product that no one else has. I believe my framework of implementation when I build is create a superior product for an affordable price. Right. And what that's going to do is not just enable me to fill it up quick, which is stabilizing, right? Stabilizing a project, but also, and more importantly, it's gonna help me with my occupancy and retention because every time you actually get someone out, it costs you money to turn over the unit, right? Like
Mhm.
paint it, fix the floor, whatever. And what about acquiring the tenant, right? Like you put advertisement out, you pay realtor commissions. I mean, think about how much money involved here every time you have a turnover, right? So my tenants, first of all, they stay for 3-4 years instead of 1 year with my competition because it's so nice. It's like resort like
Yeah.
indoor home that they never thought they will ever own, right? And then my occupancy is most of the time 100%. Like I have 98%, I'm bombed out. Like 98%, 97%, I'm like bombed out. And my competition nowadays with everything going on, they're struggling to feel like 65, 75%.
Yeah.
So, it's good for everyone.
Why you want to be the best in class, be the best in the area. That was one of the things too. It's like just be the best in that area. You don't have to be the highest priced, but the same notion, you go look at that competition, you go, all right, I see what you have. How do I just do the same thing? How do I do better? But yeah, same pricing, essentially.
I have a license. I owned a restoration company. One of the companies I built and sold, service companies I built and sold, was a restoration company. So I had to get certified in New Jersey and Pennsylvania about mold mitigation and all the things. And I had an instructor, I'm never going to forget what he told us. He's like, you can do something good, you can do it better, or you can do it better. His name was Barry. I'm not making this up. Barry,
That
right?
yeah.
So why am I telling you this? Is because I do things betterer.
Yeah. Bro, why we gotta make some swag with that on there.
Okay,
At
let's
Owners
go.
Club, we'll do Owners Club and we'll do like we do a better
Betterer.
if we can borrow that from you and Barry.
Yeah, man, it's all good. Just put my signature on the bottom. Just
We
joking.
will. I'll do it on the back. So we'll make some
It's
swag.
all good. Yeah, man, let's do it.
So
So that's I get those exotic products that are not even here, and people go in and they have the Wow Factory, but it serves, and I give it at an affordable price. I don't get over because I'm the only one on the block that has that. On the contrary, I even make it betterer, right, by offering it at an affordable price point. So now my prospects are going to shop different places to live, and they're going to walk 7 places. Nobody is as nice and for such a good price. Even the nicer ones, they charge a premium for it. I mean, think about it, right? So it's like a no-brainer.
I love that. You take that whole market for yourself and you get to be the gold standard. I love it. And I actually like where this conversation is going. I don't really care to talk about the real estate so much because I think these little conversations are way more impactful than I know I'm getting value and I know someone else out there is getting value. But okay, let's go talk to this to someone who actually hasn't done a deal yet or that they're looking to get maybe a little bit do some bigger deals and learn a little bit more from a professional like yourself because after all we are a community, we provide value and I know you're a big value provider. But if someone was looking for a piece of property for a commercial real estate deal, they can find an existing building, right? They can go to Philly, they can go to North Carolina, they can go to West Virginia. Tell us what it looks like if someone was to find a deal and they go, well, all right, great. You brought 600,000 to a last deal. I don't have that. I have $6. I have $60. Well, how do they make money?
Such a great question. Thank you so much for it. This is actually more like commercial real estate is more approachable and attainable than most people think, right? Like we are many times due to fear and other reasons are prisoners in our own head, right? Like we create that something in our head that is not true, but we believe it, right? And then we become imprisoned by it, right? So it's more approachable and attainable. I want to tell your audience than they might think. They don't need $600,000, and if they have $60 to their name, that's also okay. Because I just got a $3 million property, like a mixed-use commercial property, for zero money out of pocket. As a matter of fact, if you really want to drive that point home, I'm almost embarrassed to say that out loud, but I'm actually making $100,000 on it when I leave because I overfunded.
Yeah.
I mean, my time is worth money, right?
Well, you got to pay for your time, and you got to pay for your knowledge, and pay for the deal, and pay for the lead, and
Thank
all
you.
that. Yeah, for sure.
Right? But at the end of the day, you don't need necessarily money. You don't necessarily need a lot of things that people think that they need. And I would love to do commercial deals with anybody in our community by explaining to them how things are done. And if they have commercial properties they simply don't know what to do with, then I'm the commercial real estate guy in our community, and I'm here to fill that void for them and help them better understand everything. Pace always says something that I took with me on every Zoom that I ever done in the community. I run some Zooms also for the community. We don't need to look anywhere. We have everything we need here.
Oh, yeah. We always say,
Right?
yeah, we say, and no problem we can't solve.
Like we have all the resources here. We have the money here. We have the people that know how to do it. You don't need to know it all. You don't need to try to figure it all out on your own, right? Like you need to think smarter, not harder, right? Like this is smart. Like if Justin knows something that I don't know, then why wouldn't I just ask Justin? Why would I want to try that and follow my face? Like there's no need for that, right? Like
Yeah.
Justin's in our community.
Yeah, for sure. So if someone was looking in their backyard, or they were in a city, town, doesn't matter, right? We need a population. We need something that has to be sustainable. What does it look like? Storefronts, commercial storefronts, small stores, brick and mortar, maybe not doing always the greatest. So what does it look like for you? What does a deal look like if I'm out there trying to, with the $60? Is it a building on a city block that has distressed, maybe 20 units distressed, and then maybe 6 storefronts on the curb, on the sidewalk? Is that something that you would be interested in if someone had a deal out there?
Yeah. So thank you for that. I think that would give clarity to some folks out there. So at the end of the day, there's a lot of groups within commercial real estate. And for the sake of simplifying things, I'm going to do an elimination method that says, okay, this is what it's not and everything else is. And I'll give you a couple of prime examples of main categories in commercial just to serve your question the best possible way. For example, multifamily is considered commercial only when it's 5 doors and above, right? Like if you have a triplex, a duplex, quadplex, that's considered residential, not commercial. So multifamily, anything over 5 doors, I don't care if it's 50, 500, like anything over 5, it's commercial, right? So that's one category. SFR single family is not commercial, right? So most of the things outside of that, like 90+% is commercial, right? Like a church is commercial, a school is commercial, a hospital is commercial. I took a senior living and I made it a hotel, right? So that's commercial, a senior assistant living, right? You have mixed use, which are like a bunch of storefronts on the bottom and apartment buildings above. That's mixed use. You can also have a much larger commercial real estate above that, and your takeoff, which is from the ground up, first level, second level, third level, could be all retail, right? Like that's also commercial. So anything that is not SFR or over 4 doors in multifamily and any other building that doesn't fall in the SFR or below 5 doors, you can consider as commercial, right? Like you got industrial, you got commercial flex, and I can go on and on. And a lot of things are not even familiar. Some people, I'm just going to get people lost, right? There's a lot of categories.
All good. Yeah. I mean, guys, if you're out there, what I'm trying to get at is, and what I'm priming Doron to tell us is, and what he just said, go out there, find the opportunities. They're not too big. If they're a big building, it's okay. There's still a mom and pop landlord in there, someone who ran it in the 70s, and it's seen its prime, it's seen its day. They need to exit, and that asset most likely needs new life. It needs a new vision. Doron has that. He can cast that vision, and/or he can look at something and say, yeah, I would do this. And maybe that's all the value you got from him. And maybe that's the only value exchange you guys have. And you go off and take it on your own. But at the end of the day, you still have someone, a leader in the community, who's doing large scale multifamily development and/or, I mean, revision, remodel, you name it, you'll do it.
Thank you so much for what you said. You made me want to chime in real quick because you provide so much clarity. I'm nowhere near your podcasting level skills of understanding how to present things in a digestible way to people. So I don't want people thinking we have a $300 million deal. Doron said it's over 5 doors, anything over 5. Yeah, but the sweet spot and the things that I can get really passionate about is making an impact, because that's just my DNA. Like I like to do things that are meaningful also for others, that are more than just towards me for the money value, right? Because I'm already at a place I'm doing good for myself. And the reason I'm saying it is because people need to understand the true joy in life is not just giving and helping others, but seeing others succeed, and you were a part of their success. So if you can help those small categories, that's really where my passion it is. That's my sweet spot. Small businesses, right? Mom and pop businesses. I'm not going for the humongous plays. You're talking about corporate, you're talking about red tape, you're talking about a whole bunch of stuff that we don't even want to go to, right? So if you can think of a mom and pop business that is either going to be sold or is they're selling, and there's a real estate piece of it also, then you can, like, I've done something, it's attached to a big land, and I took that. Either I can change it and make it profitable, or I can just, it's old, I knock it down, and then I just subdivide and I make something much bigger play. But the real value we can drive to others as humans, right, is with those small mediocre plays, right? Like, there's office buildings in Philadelphia. They're selling 30 cents on the dollar. Like, office space is just not, what it used to be nowadays, because everyone's working remotely. COVID opened their eyes to a lot of people, right? So I'm not looking for those plays. Like, dude, like, yes, it's a lot of money, but who cares? Like, who cares? Like, who cares? But if you have plays of someone that owns a small strip mall or a small shopping center, they have like 10 shops, and they just want to retire. They're 65. I'm looking at 5 commercial properties of a guy 65 years old that actually is looking to retire, right? Like, he's desperate to sell, you know, and he's just he found the love of his life, and he wants to move with her to Italy, and this thing's just weighing him down, right?
Yeah.
And then I can come and I can keep those shops in the community, because it's a small town center, provide so much value to that community, and help him fulfill on his life dream of retiring with his loved one in Italy. I mean, what could possibly be more powerful than that? Like, I'm not looking for 300 doors or $50 million deals. Like, no, dude, that's what life's about for me. And I know you get it, because you're the same way, man. I'm moving in my chair. I'm so excited just talking about those.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, although we don't get to connect enough, we get to see each other because we're busy people, are leaders are leading and being busy, and we're doing our deals. But I'm like, yeah, we do speak a lot of the same language. And not to mention creative finance for that 65-year-old, most likely, whether or not it's creative finance or not. Some people just want to take the cash, because I'm going to touch a little creative because it is a creative podcast.
Let's go.
But it's the same notion as value, that you can also, it's value. And it's, next thing you know, you're helping him with his tax situation. Now he can stretch that X amount of dollars that you're paying him for that one big asset that he's liquidating. And next thing you know, you're structuring a payment where he gets to save his tax. He gets more money. You get the creative finance piece or the seller finance component. And it's just all these wins stack up. and they're
110%.
and they're
I'm
on
sorry.
both sides. Yeah, it's great.
So if, like you said, and you kept repeating, in case your listeners missed it, I'm going to repeat it again. As long as you know what you're doing, right? Because if you know what you're doing, you can structure those things. Creative is the way to go, and is more acceptable and almost like expected in the
Yeah.
commercial than it is in residential,
That's a good point right there. And
right?
that's, yeah, business buying in commercial real estate, it's the subject to the assumable,
Yes.
taking over debt. It's very, very common, guys, just so you know. Doron hit it right on the head.
So I want you to understand that when we speak creative, not only that is in mind, but if you know creative and understand it, like a lot of our community members do, you can get hyper creative, not super hyper creative. Like that deal that I was telling you off air that I got under, it's a Morby, not just it's a Morby. I'm not going to give you all the terms. I'm not going to confuse people here, but like the guy that is carrying the note, the seller is deferring payments for 2 years at zero interest.
So good.
That's the deal that I worked. Man, I got to tell you about this deal off record. You're going to be like,
Yeah.
how the hell did you, like, I'm telling you, I sliced it from like 7 different directions. It's amazing. You can, in creative, you can also do so much more that you can outside of the commercial than you can ever be able to outside of the commercial category. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. For the audience, I'm assuming something right now. You ended up getting this deal. I know it's a Morby method. So you probably gave him a large chunk up front of capital. Nothing at all up front, not even on the front end.
I didn't take $1 out of my own pocket,
but for him.
No.
Wow. All right. Because I figured you probably gave him an injection of capital and then deferred 2 years, which even the deferring for 2 years, let's even say you gave him a chunk of capital up front. Let's say for hypothetical, it's $100,000 down. And for 2 years, he says, yeah, I'm not going to take a payment. Up to the audience to just realize that if you defer payments, that makes your deal look so much attractive. Even if you're assigning this deal or you're going to sell it to someone else, you're making that so much more attractive, while Doron or myself can do the construction, can do the rehab, can do the value add components that we need to do and not pay any debt, most likely, or at least pay the seller. It just helps so much in the beginning on the front end of those deals, and underwriting can be a little bit more better. So if you structure just that, hey, I'm not going to deny you your money, seller, Mr. Seller or Miss Seller. Let me just defer it while we renovate and stabilize this asset. Guys, that's one little tip that if you put in your tool belt, you can take the money that you probably deferred and put it in your assignments.
Exactly. So the assignment fees could also be more lucrative. But if you, because this is a creative community, really think about it. You can, it's like, you go to McDonald's. I don't do McDonald's. If I ever do a fast food burger, it would be either Five Guys, or if my kids will really force me to a Burger King, I'll do a Burger King, because they have the Angus patty. Like you can supersize, right? You can supersize the order, right? Like bigger fries, bigger drink. So good, guys, in commercial, you can supersize your creative.
Yeah. Ooh, a lot of takeaways today. We got better. We got supersize. We got supersize. Dang, I got a lot of swag to make by the time I see you in Monterey in June.
Let's go. Yeah, let's go. So and that's exactly what happened. And even the 0%, that, like, I'm making payments towards the principal, and the reason I deferred it for 2 years is to inject that value add play, which, by the way, costs me half than it would cost anybody else. That alone is like a black belt move for a different discussion on a different time. But what I'm trying to say is that it costs me half, and I'm adding so much value, so I can refi him out like in a year and pay him the whole note, although he deferred it for me for 2 years. So I'm not going to even make his payments.
Yeah.
Like, just like
You're going to pay him
you
off.
you can supersize your creative in commercial real estate.
I love that. Supersize your creative.
If you know what you're doing and you got the right person maybe in your tool belt, and that's where I feel off record telling you that there's a lot of deals that are kind of flying by people's eyes. Like they don't know what to do with them. They don't quite understand them, and you can just do so much with them, right? Is
Yeah.
all I'm saying.
And I would say the takeaway as we take this home, I would say the one thing maybe to think about, and you tell me what you think, is as long as you have a willing participant, most likely it's the seller. And if you do a decent enough job introducing some sort of creative, or if the seller is really enthused on, hey, listen, I need some black belts. Do you have any black belts in your corner? I'm looking to battle the tax man. I'm looking to maximize my profits on this last asset before I die. I'm going to try to fade off into the sunset. I might have 10 to 15 good summers left of my life. I want to know I have some capital behind me and my family. But if you have a willing participant, most likely I've always seen the deals get really, really great. I don't know if you have anything else to add on that, but it's always the sellers too that you need that willingness from them.
I have, first of all, you're spot on. But yeah, the little thing I have to add is the difference between what you said that is so much better and making it a betterer is that if you know at a very high level the things that you can do, most of the time they don't even know what they don't know, then you can really create that better transaction, because at the end of the day, you can optimize the play much better.
Yeah, no, you're right on. So supersizing and better definitely apply to that. And you do have to bring the black belt, but that's why you have your community. That's why we have you. You have folks all around this community who could help. You can jump on the Zoom with a seller or go and we fly out in bigger assets. We might want to fly out and we're going to do the whole thing. But that's why we have folks like you. And that's why you're going to come to the forefront of this commercial side of the real estate game, because we need it. And
Yeah.
you have a lot to offer.
Yeah, 100%. And, I'm starting in owners with that, like just putting a committee for commercial. You're getting a scoop in your podcast here, because that's like the closest thing to us, our circle, like around us, immediate circle. But it's like Pace says, which is what you just exactly said now. It's not the how, it's the who. They keep breaking their head with, how am I doing this? I'm looking at this, I don't know how I'm doing it. Okay, I'm passing it, or I'm just not even going to respond to that lead. Stop thinking about the how, like Pace says. Think about the who. Like when I started, I also thought about the who. Who has what I need? The information, the outside of the box thinking, the black belt, resources, knowledge. Right? That's the only thing I wanted to add to what you said.
Yeah. Everything, Pace says this too. Yeah. Everything you want is in someone else's pocket, and you just got to get it. Well, Doron, so we can get the listeners on, but they need to get a hold of you. What are we doing to get a hold of you? How do you want to get deals or opportunities or things sent to you? Is it your Instagram?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the Instagram, it's Doron Levi, REI, which stands for real estate investment. Doron is spelled Doron, Levi, like Levi, the jeans, right? Levi. Just DM me, and anything you need help with between underwriting, analysis, or you want a JV on. I'm looking to do deals with everyone in the community and help out as much as I can to everyone with the commercial real estate.
Love that. Guys, don't be an ask hole to Doron. All right. He's a high level dude, but we want to make sure we have some good opportunities, and we just want to present things in a professional way. Right. And that's how you get what you want out of this too. You can leverage each other. So guys, please reach out to Doron Levi, REI on Instagram. Just give him a follow, even if you just want to see what he's up to, because he's got some really, really dope stuff. Guys, that's the Get Creative podcast. I'm your host, Justin Tuminowski. You can find me at realestatejustin.com. And hey, listen, if you're a Gator sub 2 top tier TC member and you want to get on here, you got to beat Doron and I's podcast. This is probably my favorite to date. So you're going to have to bring your game. But if you want to come on, reach out to our homegirl, Taya, Taya at pacemorby.com. She will get you on here and we'll chalk it up. All right. Doron, appreciate you, dog. And I'll see you in Monterey, California in June.
Thank you so much for having me. Shout outs to Taya. She's amazing. She's such a blessing to our community. Thank you for everything she does behind scenes. Nobody knows about, thinks about, or sees. Thank you, Taya. Thank you so much, Justin. I'll see you later, brother. Thank you so much for having me.
We'll see you. That's Get Creative Podcast. Later, guys.